Hi, my name is Brenda Titus. Thank you for joining me for my year recovering from retinal detachment. This is the 29th video in my series, so I've been covering step by step and stage by stage. So if you're interested in hearing kind of the story from the beginning and following along, please feel free to go back to the beginning. And also, as a reminder, this is in no way meant to take the place of medical intervention or medical advice. If you feel that you are having trouble with your eyes, it is incredibly important that you get medical intervention as soon as possible. Trust me, save your vision. So today I actually have an update. I wasn't planning actually to do an update because I'm going to be going on vacation soon, but I had some kind of interesting things that have been taking place over these last few weeks, and I thought I would share them. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to be going on vacation, and I might even do some videos while I'm on vacation because I am literally going back to the places that I was in the days before the retinal detachment that I experienced in July of 2024. And so it's been a little anxiety provoking, but it's also been really exciting as well. It's kind of scary, but I also know I had my retinas scanned a couple weeks ago, double checked, everything is locked down, healing, and I'm knocking on my wood. I should be okay. And so I need to go live my life. So in the midst of planning for our vacation, I realized that I would feel more comfortable if I had some backup glasses. And even though they don't really make a big difference in terms of the distance, just there's such a small correction, but it really does make a huge difference to always have glasses on, especially to be able to do the near vision. And so they're right here. I ordered them kind of a, online, kind of a less expensive pair, all those good things. They're plastic, but I felt much more comfortable having a backup pair of glasses. So as I was waiting for my backup pair of glasses, though, I was really struggling with pain. And I think I might have addressed that in my last video. It felt like the best way that I could describe it. I thought, well, gosh, is it hitting a nerve? And it was just really a struggle, especially on days, I don't drive very much, but it was like a day, I went on a doctor's appointment. And so then I'd be very heavily attentive on my driving, very alert. Then I'd come home with a headache and need a nap, and or I'd go see my parents or something like that. So I called the doctors, and they actually, it's kind of interesting. In the end, I said, well, they actually, the medical group referred me back to the person who did my cataract surgery. And the real reason for that was that, I've got my retinal doctor, I've got the person who helps me with my vision checks, and then this person who originally was there for my cataracts. However, technically, she is the ophthalmologist who is covered under my medical insurance. And so that was kind of, how that worked. So so I made that appointment and I was preparing for it. Well, in the meantime, one day I was taking a nap. I think I'd gone out for a hair appointment or something. My eyes were bothering me from the drive and I was so tired. And I was kind of anxious because we were going to be going on a little weekend away. So I was, just preparing myself. And the glasses came, these ones. And so I, I wish you could see, I wish I could see actually the look on my face. I know how it felt when I put these on, and it was like an exhale. It was like, oh, these actually feel right. Now, it doesn't mean that my vision is magically the way that it was even, before the second retinal detachment or before the first retinal detachment. But it felt better. It felt like I could focus better. Literally, I'm so used to talking about mental focus. I could focus my eyes better. I could deal with the double vision better, and it didn't hurt as bad. And I thought, well, that's that's pretty amazing for just actually so instantaneous that it was just like, and of course I'm aware, well, was this a placebo effect? Was it just that I was putting all my eggs in this one basket and, and all of that. And so I was kind of like, well, let's see. So I decided that weekend, that was a Friday. And then actually my doctor's appointment was going to be the following Wednesday. But in the meantime, I was going to be traveling, and I traveled on Saturday through Tuesday. And I was so excited to realize that I didn't have the pain anymore. I was able to spend it was long days between travel and then the family time that we were there to be with my family, way more engaged, and it just didn't bother me as much. Now, again, like I said, placebo, was I busy? Was I not thinking about it? I'm very aware because as my job as a hypnotist, I'm always aware of, well, what you focus on, well, if I was focusing so much on the pain, but so I did kind of, tuck that into the back of my mind, and I had the weekend away. But here's the other thing is that I'm really aware of how much I was actually able to see. Now, that actually isn't because the glasses are better. It really was, they're the same prescription. But there is one difference, which I'll tell you in a minute. So I was really happy, so happy to realize that, as I was traveling, I could see the signs. I could, piece together the words. I could understand directions and where I needed to go. And so it really alleviated a lot of the anxiety to be able to, be able to understand and see. And I didn't feel like I was visually impaired as I have felt so much of the time. And even, we were away for a graduation. And so, a big crowd. And then could I keep track of where my family was? And, or even in the airport, I wandered around the airport all by myself. I have fun, airport shopping and all of those things. And so, or being able to even honestly, being able to find the restroom on my own in a restaurant, in a place that or even in the airport or anywhere that I'm not used to. All of those things I was able to do. And that was, the difference between, like before my cataract surgery, when I could almost see nothing. Cataracts are terrible, or, some of the other recovery. And so I was pretty happy. So that was like an amazing weekend. I was very, very happy. And so I go in on Wednesday morning to see the ophthalmologist, and she's great. I do like her. I said, I'm really sorry that I'm here, but and she said, no, she does more than cataracts. And so she understood, and she looks at my scans, and she said, I need to be sure that you know how well that you're really doing. And I always kind of, I admit it, I'm trying to work on, having a good attitude about it. And I said, I just, it's so hard. And she said, well, she said, that I'm healing a lot better than she ever thought I would. And she said, I'm actually, to be honest, she said, I didn't think that you would ever recover or have as much vision as you have, and that you're doing as well as you are. And then she said the phrase, she said it was a modern medical miracle. And I'm like, I admit I'm really working on the good attitude about it and all of that, but it is really true. There were people, actually, I spoke to a neighbor once, and people who've gone through retinal detachments and they completely lose their vision because it's some of the procedures around retinal detachment are more modern. Or even if people who don't get the medical attention even as quickly as I did, even though it felt like it was forever. So I really did have quality help. I followed all the instructions, and so so I am very thankful. So modern medical miracle, that's that's where we're at. So yay. So in the meantime, so when I ordered these glasses, my backup glasses, I ordered them with the same prescription as the doctors had given me at my eye doctors. But I made a mistake. And it was the best mistake I've ever made in my whole entire life, because it was a very lucky mistake. And in my glasses that I bought with my insurance, and they're higher quality and a nicer, they're much nicer. We put the prisms in this eye, and they thought that would help with the double vision. Well, in fact, I forgot to add the prisms onto this one. Now, did I forget, or did I do it on purpose? I actually don't remember. I thought that I added the prisms, but apparently I didn't. And so we do believe, I'm really, really hopeful. We suspect that is going to resolve a lot, and that I had my glasses re-lensed. They're not back in yet, but they'll be back before I leave for my vacation. So I'll be able to use them on my vacation, get used to wearing them again. And I'm really, really hopeful that is going to resolve the vision issues, because it was it was such a challenge, because I kept just working so hard to get my eyes to come together. And now with these, I understand better how to do that. So here's the other part with the pain. And the pain is she's going with dry eye. And now, I understand. I suppose I should understand that, the age that I'm at, and understanding the history of menopause and menopausal symptoms. And a lot of that is associated with dryness, including your eyeballs. And so, and of course, it would make sense, during times when I was driving and more stressed, that I wasn't blinking as much. And I had such a hard time a year ago with eye drops, and feeling frustrated by them, that I wasn't really using eye drops unless I felt like I really needed them. And she said, no, you just need them always. Like, I have basically a guideline around, 4 times a day with this one, and overnight with that one, and the warm compresses, where you're supposed to just relax and sit and, and enjoy the ride while your eyes are recovering. So that's what I'm doing right now. That has been about 2 weeks, and that has helped a lot. And I basically just have, I had bought a little, it's a chapstick holder that you can kind of clip onto your purse or your belt or whatever. And it can also, this is a little pro tip, that you can use it to hold your eye drops as well. So I put my eye drops in there. I clipped it onto my headphones, because they're pretty much always with me. And so I use the eye drops, and that has really been helping quite a bit. So I have a lot of hope, a lot of, feeling pretty good about the next step. And so I wanted to come on here and share that update. And like I said, modern medical miracle. But it is true. I remember the first night when they said, you could very likely permanently lose some of your vision. And, aside from, the distance, that is the struggle, is I don't have a lot of distance. Also just the adjustment with the double. The main thing that I still experience with the double vision, the biggest struggle is reading. So reading, especially, it's kind of like everything just kind of, goes like this. So I'm working on that. I think that my next step is to maybe wear a patch when I'm reading. I haven't read a book in a year. I mean, I literally am going to take the book that I was in the middle of reading last year on my vacation. I just packed it a few minutes ago, and so I'm gonna, take that. But I think probably my next thing, I'll try patching this eye, give it a break, so I can read with this eye and with the glasses. It should work. I'm hoping. I mean, I miss reading for fun, and especially because then I read on my phone, or I even read on my iPad, and then that feels like work, or it doesn't feel like it's not as enjoyable. So I'm hoping I've got a couple books that are kind of based on the locations that we'll be. And maybe I won't tell you where we're going, and hopefully I'll just do a video and you'll see how fun it is. And I'm really hoping to just have a successful trip, no emergencies, have a wonderful time. And, hopefully I'll be able to, report back at some point and share how that goes. So with that, thank you so much for joining me. And I will put some links down in the description about, like I said, about, I think I have some different ones that are about, retinal detachment, what to look for. And I think I have some dry eye things along the way as well. So if you're not so sure about that, the big things with dry eye are sometimes, because we use technology so much, so we're not blinking as much. That's a big thing. It's a really common issue. Also with dry eye, menopause. So you've got the M there, and also medications. And it is true, actually. Even just my allergy pills. I mean, there's a couple medications that I take, but allergy pills are dry you out as well. So there's a lot of things that go into dry eye. It's actually pretty common. It's why when you go to the store, there are so many different options for, artificial tears and all of that. And so now I'm going to be the connoisseur of artificial tears to help moisturize my eyes. So, and if you're interested in hearing more about my journey through dry eye, it was about a year ago. So it's going to be in probably maybe videos 1 through 10 or 10 through 20. But definitely, if you haven't seen my journey up to here, I definitely recommend that you take a look there, and definitely keep an eye out. I'll give you a preview. I'm going to be in another country when I go on my, have you seen the other videos? I think I already said, but for those people who are new, I will see you from another country, hopefully soon, and have a wonderful day.